Excellencies, dear colleagues, this is definitely the last speech of this summit. First of all, only if I'm going to provoke any debate. But first of all, let me thank the Icelandic Presidency for hosting this summit. Iceland has shown efficient leadership of the Committee of Ministers of the Council of Europe, as well as the efficient organization of this summit. I'm honored to address you today as Latvia assumes presidency of the Committee of Ministers for the next 6 months. It will be our second time chairing the work of this organization since Latvia became a member in 1995. Latvia undertakes this task with a great sense of responsibility at a critical time. The Council of Europe was founded to protect democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. For almost 75 years, it has greatly contributed to the rules-based order in Europe. The international rules-based order has been fundamentally challenged by the Russian Federation's aggression against Ukraine. Democracy and human rights are the bedrock of freedom and peace in Europe. They must never be taken for granted. I welcome the Member States' strong commitment to protect standards and values of this organization. Latvian Presidency's work will be guided by the decisions taken today at this first summit of the Council of Europe. As the Presidency, we will work closely with other Member States in order to strengthen the Council of Europe. We will open to a dialogue on all issues of the agenda. Excellencies, Latvian Presidency will advance the implementation of decisions in support of Ukraine. Today, we have reconfirmed unwavering support to sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity of Ukraine. The Council of Europe must continue support to Ukraine and its people as long as necessary. We condemn in the strongest terms Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine. Such a behavior can never be normalized. Russia must comply with its international obligations and withdraw its forces from Ukraine, as well as from Georgia and Moldova. We must ensure comprehensive accountability. It means responsibility of Russia as a state for violations of international law. And it means individual liability for the most serious crimes of international concern. As Presidency, we intend to keep these issues high on the agenda. Russia must pay for the damages caused by the war against Ukraine. I welcome the first practical step towards future international compensation mechanism, the establishment of the Register of Damage. Latvia is among its founding members. As the Presidency, we will advance its operational launch. An establishment of the Special Tribunal for the crime of the aggression is a vital further step. The crime of aggression is a leadership crime and the source of other crimes committed by the Russian armed forces against Ukraine and its people. This accountability gap must be closed. We retain our position for establishing an ad hoc international tribunal under the auspices of the United Nations. Latvia condemns the deportation of Ukrainian civilians to Russia or its temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine. The practice of the forcible transfer and unlawful adoptions of Ukrainian children is especially worrisome. I welcome today's decision to focus on the situation of the children of Ukraine. I call on Member States of the Council of Europe to provide support to the Action Plan on Resilience, Recovery and Rebuilding of Ukraine. Latvia has just provided a financial contribution to this action plan. This organization must continue supporting the efforts of the Belarusian society to build a free and democratic Belarus. Excellencies, let me now turn to national priorities of our presidency. Firstly, strengthening democracy and the rule of law in Europe, including promotion of the execution of the European Court of Human Rights judgments. We will devote particular importance to the rule of law through an effective functioning of justice system. In September, Latvia will organize an informal conference of European justice ministers in support of resilience of Ukrainian judicial system at the time of war and post-war reconstruction. Latvian presidency will explore the role of national courts in the execution of rulings of the European Court of Human Rights. We will emphasize the need for a dialogue-based monitoring process over the execution of the judgments. It can be done by greater cooperation among states and with experts from the Council of Europe. The Presidency will address the crucial role of education and youth promoting democracy and the rule of law at the Standing Conference of European Ministers of Education in September. Secondly, promotion of freedom of expression, safety of journalists, and digital agenda of the Council of Europe. Latvian Presidency will join efforts with the Council of Europe to promote the protection of journalists and media professionals, including during conflicts and wartime. In October, we will welcome you in Riga at the International Conference on Freedom of Expression and Safety of Journalists. On this occasion, the new Council of Europe campaign on safety of journalists will be launched. The Latvian Presidency is committed to contribute to the work of the Council of Europe in the area of artificial intelligence. We support the negotiations on the new Framework Convention. Thirdly, advancement of reforms of the Council of Europe. The current geopolitical situation provides an opportunity for changes of the Council of Europe as the organization. The summit has given us policy direction in this regard. Latvian Presidency is committed to increase the transparency, visibility, and efficiency of the work of the Committee of Ministers. The civil society and youth must be involved in the policy discussion processes. The situation when citizens of Russia continue working in the Council of Europe structures is unacceptable. We will work and we will follow up on this issue at the Committee of Ministers and with the Secretary. In conclusion, I assure you of the Latvian Presidency's commitment to human rights and equality. We will promote and protect the values and standards of these organizations. Thank you very much.